Welcome to this quick revision session. Before you begin this lesson, don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more if you're not yet part of it. We are going to look at the revision by a presentation. Yes, this revision is meant for mathematics Form 5, that is ordinary level students. Now it is on a topic, statistics. And we want to look at some few tips on statistics. That is why we have it, statistics made simple. Now, it will be capturing how to calculate the mean, the median, and mode from a frequency distribution. One, we first of all recall that the mean is the average score given by the formula mean x bar equals summation x over n for raw data consisting of n scores or n variates. Or a frequency distribution, which is our main concern here, the mean x bar will be given by summation xf over summation f for a frequency distribution. And this summation f in the denominator simply represent the total frequency. 2, the median is the score that divides a distribution into two equal components by first arranging the scores in ascending order of magnitude, as we can see from this above definition. That is, if we want to find the median, there are two things involved. We need to check the number of scores n. If that number of score n is odd, the median will be given by the score at the position n plus 1 over 2. But if the score is even, if the score n is even, the median will be the average between the two scores, one at the position n over 2, the other at the position n over 2 plus 1. So we'll get the average. That is why we have x at n, the score at n over 2, plus the score at n over 2 plus 1 divided by 2, giving us an average. In this case, if it were a frequency distribution, the n would denote the sum of the frequency, which is the total frequency. But if we are, if the scores were listed or discrete, again, our n will simply be the total number of scores. 3, we need to also recall that the mode is simply given as the score with the highest frequency. Or the mode is the score which occurs the highest number of times in any given set of data. So please, after looking at this, recalling important tips on these 3 measures of centers, which are called the median, the mean, the median, and the mode, we need to look at an application exercise to see how we can actually apply these concepts to GCE problems. So we'll look at an application exercise on how we can actually solve GCE questions related to these 3 concepts. As an application exercise, which has been taken from the source here is GCE June 2015, paper 2, section B, question 4. This is GCE ordinary level mathematics. An interview was conducted in a certain village to determine the number of girls in some families. The following results were obtained. These are the results. You can read through the numbers. Okay, A, represent this information on a frequency distribution table. B, states the number of families interviewed. Find C, the mode and the median. D, the mean of the number of girls per family. Good. This is the question. Now, how do we provide a solution? As a solution, we need to bring back the results that were obtained. So the results obtained were 0, 3, 4, 0, 4, 7, 10, 5, 10, 7, 3, 0, 4, 5, 7, 5, 7, 7, 5, 7. Good. Now, those results represent the number of girls in each family, and the total number of figures listed here gives the total number of families that were interviewed. So the first part of the question said we should represent this information on a frequency distribution table. Below, as we can see, is a frequency distribution table. So this is the frequency distribution table. We first of all analyze all these results in a table. Now, we start with 3, 0. When we put down 0, which is the lowest score representing that number of girls per family, we look at how many families had 0 girls. To do that, to check how many families have 0 girls, when we put 0, we can 1, 0, 2, 3. So which means that 0 girls belongs to 3 families. There were 3 families with no girl. Now, moving to the next, 3. How many families had 3 girls? Again, we count. We have 1, 2, that is all. So we have 2 families, number of families, 2 families with 3 girls each. The next is, we look at the number of families having 4 girls each. Now, again, to do this, we count 1, 2, 3, and that is all. So we also have 3 families, each having 4 girls. So we move to the next, families with 5 girls each. To get the families with 5 girls each, again, we count 1, 2, 3, 4. So there were 4 families with 5 girls each. Next, we move to the number of families, each having 7 girls. And in a like manner, we still follow the same procedure. We count the number of 7s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there were 6 families with 7 girls each. Next, the number of families having 10 girls each. We have 1, 2. Good. Now, before we get to an end, we also look at the scores. If we discover that we have crossed all the scores, it means that we have completely used up the data that was given to us. So this is what we call the frequency distribution table. Good. The next part of the question states the number of families interviewed. To know the number of families, the total number of families interviewed from a frequency distribution, we will just add up all these frequencies. That is why we said the number of families interviewed will be summation F. And this summation F means total frequency. How do we obtain it? We simply add 3 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 6 plus 2, as you can see here, giving us 20 families. We move to part C. Find the mode and the median. We're supposed to find the mode and the median. Good. To find the mode, we look back at that frequency distribution table that we obtained, and looking at this frequency table, we were told that the mode is the score with the highest frequency. So we look at the number of girls corresponding to the highest frequency. It means that when you look at the frequencies, the highest frequency is 6, and this 6 corresponds to 7. So which means that there were 7 families there were 6 families, each having 7 girls. There were 6 families, each having 7 girls. Therefore, the mode is 7 girls. Girls with the highest number of families. Next, the median. For the median, we had already calculated the total number of families, and we had obtained 20, and 20 is an even number, which means that from the formula of the median, we use the formula corresponding to the situation where n is even. Okay, now that formula is given by the score at the position n over 2 plus the score at position n over 2 plus 1 divided by 2. That is the average between those two scores. And in this case, since n is 20, the median will be given by the score at position 10 plus the score at position 11 divided by 2. Now, how do we obtain the score at position 10? One way to do that easily in this revision will be to go back to the frequency distribution table and come out with another column, this column, which is the column for cumulative frequency. We obtain the cumulative frequencies at each level. And for the cumulative frequency here, the first frequency will correspond to the cumulative frequency. The second frequency will be added to the first. So when you add 3 to 2, you obtain 5. Adding 5 to 3, you obtain 8. 8 to 4 gives 12. 12 added to 6 gives 18. And 18 added to 20 to 2 gives 20. And when the last value of the cumulative column corresponds to the total frequency, then it means that the addition you did was perfectly correct. Now, in the case where you have the cumulative frequency column constructed, at the boundary here, if the cumulative frequency 3 means that at the boundary here, the score at the boundary here is x3, meaning there is x1, x2 still in this position. Okay, now here, x5 here means that at the boundary here, the score takes the position x5. Score at position 5. Now, this boundary here indicates the score at position 8. This boundary here indicates the score at position 12. This boundary here indicates the score at position 18. And this boundary here indicates the score at position 20. Okay, now, Normally, the scores are supposed to move from X1 to X20. We need X10 and X11. How do we obtain X10 and X11? Between X8 and X12, there is X9, X10, X11 before we move to X12, which means that in between X8 and X12, X9 will be found here, X10 will be found here, and X11 will also be found here. And the X, which denotes the scores, are not these 12, but this is where we obtain the X. So which means that X9, X10, X11, please, this is X11. X9, X10, X11, and X12 all correspond to the same score, which is 5. So in that case, we notice that X10 now is 5, X11 is also 5. So which means that the median is 5 plus 5 over 2, still giving us 5. So the median is 5 girls. So we continue. C said we should calculate the mean of the number of families of girls per family. Again, to calculate the mean, we were given that the mean from a frequency distribution is always given by summation XF over summation F. So, which means that we go back to the frequency distribution table, which is this, and we add a column for XF. And this column for XF, when we come up with this column and fill it, we are going to use the values to come out with summation XF. Good. Now, in this table, to fill this, what is XF? XF means that for each row, we multiply the score with the frequency and obtain XF. As you can just see here, 0 times 3 gives 0. Now, here, 3 times 2 gives 6. 4 times 3 gives 12. 5 times 4 gives 20. 7 times 6 gives 42. And 10 times 2 gives 20. So this is how we fill the XF column. And after filling the XF column, we now proceed. We know that the mean is summation XF over summation F, but the total frequency was also already calculated and it gave us 20 families. So the summation XF now can be obtained by adding up all these values in this column. So to do that, summation XF will be 0 plus 6 plus 12 plus 20 plus 42 plus 20, and that gives us 100. Good. Now, we simply replace summation XF with 100, and we replace summation F with 20. And if that is done, the mean will be given by 100 over 20, which gives us exactly 5. And this mean means there were 5 girls per family as an average. Good. Now, we have come to an end of that review question. For you to also follow up what we have done and practice for yourself, this is an exercise of practice. And this exercise of practice, please, you read through it and you try to solve it and compare the solutions with what has just been done. The question has been taken from GCE June 2020 paper 2, section B, question 2I, Roman numeral 1. Now, what is the question? I read, the scores of 20 students in a physics test are recorded as follows. You have 70, 80, 78, 98, 84, 67, 98, 70, 80, 100, 87, 83, 70, 70, 88, 91, 70, 78, 88, 88. A, represent the above scores on a frequency distribution table. After that, you should determine B, the mode of the distribution, C, the median score, D, the mean score. This question is exactly similar to the one we have just done, which shows that as a quick revision that we are doing, this is a very essential part in ordinary level statistics. So please take it and practice it for yourself, and we will come up with another quick revision on statistics. This is revision number 1. So we have come to the end of the topic or the quick revision. If you did enjoy it and you are not part of our channel, don't forget to subscribe. But if you're already part, please like and click the notification bell.